Welcome to AGORACOM Talks, your weekly go-to source for the best small-cap headlines for over 65 million investors since 2007.
Well, let's dive right into some market-moving news coming out of the Canadian Venture Exchange this week.
Sounds good. What do we have?
First up, we've got Goliath Resources.
Oh?
They trade on the TSXV under the symbol GOT.
GOT, got it.
They announced that McEwen Mining,
Okay.
which is a major player in the gold sector, has invested a significant amount of money into Goliath, 10 million Canadian dollars.
Wow, that's a pretty big vote of confidence from a major player.
For sure, and it gets even better. They're backing Goliath's Surebet Gold Discovery in British Columbia's Golden Triangle, and the drill results coming out of this project are truly remarkable.
So what kind of results are we talking about here?
Well, one drill hole hit an incredible 10 meters, grading 132.93 grams per ton gold equivalent.
Wow.
And get this, they're finding visible gold in almost every single drill hole.
No, that's not something you see every day.
No, it's very rare.
What does that tell us about the deposit?
Well, visible gold often suggests high-grade mineralization at shallow depths, which means it could be easier and more profitable to extract. It's a very promising sign.
So Goliath Resources, GOT on the TSXV, definitely one to watch.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears and talk about HPQ Silicon.
Okay.
They trade on the TSXV under the symbol HPQ.
HPQ.
And their subsidiary, Novasium, is making waves in the aluminum recycling industry.
Aluminum recycling. That doesn't sound all that exciting.
Oh, trust me, this is really interesting. They've actually developed a revolutionary process that could turn toxic waste into a valuable resource.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
They figured out a way to take black aluminum dross,
Okay.
which is a hazardous byproduct of aluminum recycling, and turn it into green hydrogen and other usable byproducts.
So they're solving a problem for the industry and creating valuable resources in the process. That's a win-win for everyone.
Exactly. European aluminum recyclers are already expressing strong interest in it.
Sounds like HPQ Silicon, HPQ on the TSXV is onto something big.
They could be.
Yeah.
Now let's look at a company tackling the waste issue from a different angle.
All right.
Pyrogenesis, listed on the TSX under the symbol PYR.
PYR.
They just secured a $2.5 million contract to provide their plasma-based waste-to-energy technology for a major project in the United States.
Plasma-based. What exactly does that mean?
It's an advanced technology that uses plasma, which is an extremely hot ionized gas, to break down waste materials, and it's much cleaner and more efficient than traditional incineration.
So they're converting garbage into energy without all the harmful emissions.
Precisely. And it's not just any energy.
Okay.
This technology produces clean, renewable natural gas that can be piped directly into homes and businesses.
That's incredible.
And get this, their partner in this project operates in multiple countries, which means huge growth potential for pyrogenesis.
That makes sense. So Pyrogenesis, PYR on the TSX is definitely one to watch in the clean energy space.
For sure. Now let's shift our focus to Power Nickel.
Okay.
They trade on the TSXV as PNPN.
PNPN.
They've been making headlines with their NISC project in Quebec, where they've been uncovering some seriously high-grade copper and precious metals.
I like the sound of that. Give us the numbers. What kind of grades are we talking about?
All right, so in one hole, they hit 14.4 meters of 8.15% copper,
Wow.
6.23 grams per ton palladium,
Okay.
8.40 grams per ton platinum,
Got it.
68.9 grams per ton silver, 0.59 grams per ton gold, and 0.58% nickel.
Those are some pretty eye-popping numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
Is this just a one-off, or are they finding this kind of mineralization consistently?
It's not just one hole, they hit multiple intercepts with similarly impressive grades. In another hole, they encountered 11.40 meters of 2.51% copper, 3.20 grams per ton palladium, 19.59 grams per ton platinum, 14.0 grams per ton silver, 0.24 grams per ton gold, and 0.58% nickel.
Wow, that's remarkable. It sounds like they've stumbled onto a very promising deposit.
Power Nickel, PNPN on the TSXV, is definitely one to keep an eye on.
For sure. Now let's talk about another company making waves in Quebec's mining scene. Abitibi Metals.
Okay.
They trade on the CSE under the symbol AMQ. They're
AMQ.
hitting some high-grade copper and gold at their B26 polymetallic deposit.
Yeah, their recent drill results have been turning heads.
So what kind of results are we talking about here?
Well, they've had some impressive intercepts, including a standout interval of 8.72% copper equivalent over 3.2 meters.
That's a pretty significant find. Are they seeing this kind of mineralization consistently?
Yeah, they are. They're proving the consistency of the mineralization, which is a great sign for the project's potential. In another hole, they intersected 1.82% copper equivalent over 12.5 meters with a higher grade zone of 2.8% copper equivalent over 7.85 meters.
Those are some seriously impressive numbers. It sounds like Abitibi Metals is onto something big.
Yeah, they are a company to watch for sure. And they're not resting on their laurels. We've already announced plans for a 20,000-meter drill program to expand the resource even further. So Abitibi Metals, AMQ on the CSE, keep an eye on them.
Got it. Let's wrap up this first segment with AISIX Solutions. They are an AI-powered climate risk intelligence company listed on the TSXV under the symbol AISX.
AISX.
They just secured their first revenue for 2025, which is pretty interesting. It highlights the growing importance of climate risk assessment in real estate.
It does.
So they're using AI to help investors understand the impact of climate change on their properties. That's a pretty fascinating niche.
Yeah, it really is. They've partnered with Eli Report, which is an AI platform that analyzes real estate documents. This integration allows real estate professionals to factor in climate risk when making investment decisions.
So it sounds like they're at the forefront of a growing trend. How significant is this first revenue contract for AISIX Solutions?
It's a major milestone, and their CEO said in the press release, AI6's innovative technology and expertise will enable Eli Report users to make more informed decisions by accounting for the increasing risks and opportunities presented by climate change.
AISX Solutions, AISX on the TSXV, definitely a company to watch as the importance of climate risk assessment continues to grow. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about HPQ Silicon, HPQ.V, and their subsidiary Novasium. They're tackling the aluminum recycling challenge head-on, which, I'll be honest, isn't something I'd normally associate with innovation and exciting new technologies.
Well, think again, because they've developed a really groundbreaking process that not only neutralizes toxic waste, but also unlocks the potential for valuable green hydrogen production.
I can definitely see why European aluminum recyclers are lining up to work with them. Turning a waste problem into a profit center, that's pretty attractive.
Precisely. And HPQ stock price has definitely been reflecting that excitement lately.
So speaking of waste solutions, Pyrogenesis, PYRTO, is also tackling a major global challenge. Their plasma-based waste-to-energy technology is a game changer. It offers a clean and really efficient alternative to traditional incineration.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just reducing waste. They're actually generating clean, renewable natural gas that can be piped directly into homes and businesses.
That's pretty amazing. And they also just got that $2.5 million contract for a major U.S. project, so they're clearly gaining some traction in the market. I'm curious to see how their partnership with a global environmental services company is going to impact their growth.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart strategic move. It's definitely giving them access to a much broader customer base and a wealth of industry expertise. It wouldn't be surprising to see Pyrogenesis becoming a major player in the sustainable energy sector.
For sure. Now let's get back to the mining sector and those incredible drilling results from Power Nickel, PNPNV, at their NISC project in Quebec. They really seem to have hit the jackpot with those high-grade copper and precious metal intercepts.
Yeah, it's not just the high grades, it's the consistency across multiple drill holes. They're finding significant mineralization across a 5.5-kilometer corridor, which suggests this isn't just a lucky strike. They could have a substantial and potentially highly profitable deposit on their hands.
And remember, they're exploring in Quebec, which is a region known for its mining-friendly jurisdiction and a pretty stable political environment.
Which is a really crucial factor for investors that are looking for long-term stability and reduced regulatory risk.
Makes sense. Now, Abitibi Metals, AMQ is another company making waves in Quebec's mining scene. Their B26 polymetallic deposit is yielding some pretty impressive copper and gold grades as well.
Yeah, and what's exciting about Abitibi Metals is their really aggressive approach to exploration. They're not just sitting on their initial findings, they're actually launching a 20,000-meter drill program to try and define and expand the resource.
Okay, that kind of commitment to exploration really says a lot about their confidence in the project. It suggests they believe there's a lot more to be discovered there.
Absolutely. It's that proactive approach that leads to those big discoveries and creates tons of value for shareholders.
And finally, let's circle back to AISX Solutions, AISXV, the AI-powered climate risk intelligence company. Their first revenue contract for 2025 is a big milestone. It highlights the growing importance of climate risk assessment in real estate these days.
Yeah, climate risk is not just a fringe concern anymore. It's actually a really critical factor for investors across pretty much all industries. And AISIX is positioning itself as a leader in this trend by providing data-driven insights that help investors make much more informed decisions.
Their partnership with Eli Report, a leading AI platform that analyzes real estate documents, it's a pretty shrewd move as well. It's giving them access to a vast network of potential clients and positions them as a leader in this market that's constantly evolving.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that AISX isn't just limiting themselves to real estate. They actually have some pretty ambitious plans to expand their climate risk intelligence solutions to other industries as well, like infrastructure and asset management. So this is a company with a long-term vision, and their current success is probably just the beginning.
So we've covered a pretty wide range of really exciting developments in the small cap space today, from gold discoveries to waste management solutions to mining breakthroughs, and even the role of AI in climate risk assessment. What are your sort of key takeaways from all of this, and what should investors be watching for in the coming weeks and months?
Well, I think the common thread that ties all these stories together is innovation. All of these companies are working to address critical global challenges, whether it's sustainable energy, responsible resource extraction, or mitigating climate change risks. They're not just chasing profits here, they're creating value for both their shareholders and society as a whole.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it kind of speaks to the changing landscape of the investment world these days.
Yeah.
Investors are increasingly looking for companies that are not only profitable, but also, ethical and sustainable.
Absolutely. That traditional model of just prioritizing profits above everything else is no longer sustainable. Investors are demanding more from the companies they invest in, and these small cap companies are great examples of how you can be both successful and responsible.
That's a really important message for our listeners. So as we delve a little deeper into the financial details of these companies, keep that bigger picture in mind. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the impact these companies are having on the world around us.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a really fascinating look at some of the most promising companies in the small cap space. It's clear that these companies are really leading the charge in terms of innovation and finding solutions to some of the biggest challenges facing the world today.
Yeah, and they're showing that you can be successful while still being ethical and responsible, which is more important than ever these days.
I totally agree. It's really an exciting time to be following the small cap market.
Yeah.
The potential for growth is huge, and I think we're going to see even more groundbreaking developments in the coming years.
Definitely. There's so much to look forward to.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the small cap market for this week. Thanks to everyone for listening in. We'll be back next week with more market-moving news and insights.